This is the Sports Porch, Black and Gold, with your hosts, the technical director, the Grand Schwabini, and Hockey Jesus. Come on, Pittsburgh. Let's show a little Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates love. The Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now. All right, everybody.
Is that similar to having a bag over your head, Steve?
Welcome to the Sports Porch Black and Gold. We said it would be a joyous celebration or a defeat full of tears. I'm your technical director. That's the Grand Schwabini. That's some homeless guy with a terrible towel over his head who wandered in off the street. No, that's Hockey Jesus. And welcome to the Sports Porch Black and Gold. This is live post game after the Steelers playoff game down at Acrisure Stadium. Listen, hit that subscribe button. Tell us what you think. This is live post game, breaking down the Steelers' wild card loss to the Texans. Join the chat. Why don't you? Join the chat. I it's like I don't have words, but I want to have words. But I don't really want to have words. Shouldn't we have expected this? They gave up 30 points again. This is the last game of the season. They lost. So it's like the good and the bad. Well, okay, the defense played pretty well, gave the offense opportunities. It's going to be a little bit of blame to go around here. Grand Schwabini, I'm going to start with you. Tell me what you saw.
Well, keep in mind of the 30 points, I guess 13 of them were scored defensively by the Texans.
Yep.
I find it just beyond frustrating that you could get 3 turnovers in a game, and actually pretty critical times too, especially the one on the first drive in the second half. Look, I mean, I can't believe that this game ended 30-6. I mean, it's a blowout score, but it didn't really seem like a blowout. It seemed like it was anybody's game until right up to the start of the fourth quarter. Here's the thing. I would say this. While on one hand, I think there will be folks that are coming out of this game saying, well, it wasn't the defense's fault, right? They got 3 turnovers, blah, blah, blah. They only, they didn't give up 13 points because they were scored by defensive touchdowns. But here's 2 keys that I wanted to look into and are just mind-blowing to me. So, look, I'll be just honest. I had never heard of this Woody Marks before the game. Okay. And he went for 19 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. He looked unstoppable up the middle. And I looked at his game log. He's a rookie, so this is his first season. The most rushing yards he had in a game this whole year was 74. And there were like 3 games that he had like 60 or 70 yards. I mean, so he goes for 112. Then I looked at, now look, Christian Kirk has been a decent receiver in the past. He kind of faltered a little bit in Jacksonville, and then he got traded to the Texans. But look, he had a big game today, especially with Nico Collins going out with a concussion. Kirk had 8 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. The most passing yards or the most receiving yards that Christian Kirk had all year in a game was 64. 64. So, they did sort of get beat up by the Texans offense as well. It was just that C.J. Stroud was actually so bad at protecting the football that and give the Steelers credit for that too, but he was so bad that I guess he kept the Steelers in the game longer than maybe he should have. So I thought, with that in mind, I thought overall, I thought the defense was, you know, average at best. Give him credit for the turnovers, but not for a lot else. I thought that, offensively, look, they had nothing offensively. And I would say that Arthur Smith, I mean, for me, this is the last game that I want to see him in charge. Not a lot of creativity. Look, he's not the worst offensive coordinator in the league, but not a lot of creativity. Um, Also, too, just, as far as Tomlin goes, I'm not going to get into should he be fired or not, because we've kind of gone down that road so often. But just how about, look, I know the game was probably over anyway, but just lack of guts. Like, look, you're on your 50-yard line. There's 9 minutes left. It's 4th and 13. It's going to be pretty damn hard, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Caleb Williams converted, if it was a 4th and 8 or whatever it was, and maybe they had to do it because there was less time left. But look, at the 50-yard line, at that point in the game, you got to go for it. Okay, there's no tomorrow. And if I always like to think of it this way too. If you don't go for it, all right. I mean, let's say you do go for it and you don't make it. So now the Texans have the ball at the 50-yard line. Hopefully then what you do is they get somewhere between, maybe you stop them, or maybe they get 20, 30 yards, kick a field goal. You're still down 14. You still need 2 scores, but you at least have like 7 minutes left. Look, I could go on and on. Disappointing, very disappointing. Steve, take it away.
Oh, boy. I mean, I don't know whether to be so upset that I just want to scream and yell, or if it's just we shouldn't be surprised by this anymore. I mean, let's just look at it for what it is. 2022, 42-21, we lose to Kansas City and Mahomes. 2024, we lose 31-17 to Buffalo and Josh Allen. 2025 last year, 28-14. That game actually seemed worse, but that score was better than today's score, 30-6. I mean, average all those together, including the 45-42 loss to Blake Bortles and the 48-37 loss to Baker Mayfield, and you have 37 points given up by this defense in the last 6 playoff games. 37 points. I mean, no offense, the best fucking offense in the world is not going to beat that. So, yeah, I blame the defense, and absolutely I blame Tomlin, and 100% the offensive scheme had no creativity. I mean, I get it. The Texans are one of the best defenses. Use their damn speed against them. What misdirection play did we run? Show me the play, and I'll eat my words. There was no misdirection. There was no offensive creativity. It's like they just accepted that the Texans were better than them, and then they just they get sacked because, Aaron Rodgers is a fragile 42-year-old quarterback, and he's going to get sacked. He's going to fumble the ball. We said that in the pregame. And then he tries to do too much, and he throws an interception, and they get a touchdown. So the Steelers get 3, to your point, the Steelers get 3 turnovers in critical points of the game and get a total of 3 points. The Texans get 2 turnovers, don't even have to run a damn offensive play and get 13 points. I mean, come on. The Texans out-Steelered the Steelers. The Steelers always have said that all you have to do is make some good defensive plays, some splash plays, and do just enough on offense. Well, that got proven wrong, absolutely wrong, this playoff game, just like it did the 5 previous playoff games. This team needs to be blown up. Absolutely no way in hell are they going to fire Tomlin, but that's what they need to do. They need to start from scratch. They need to get a quarterback that's going to be their future. And if that means you play Rudolph next year, you play Rudolph next year. I don't give a care, because they are going to lose a lot of really deep Steeler Nation fans if they continue down this path. They will absolutely do that. And Art Rooney II, you better be listening, because you don't want that to happen. You don't want to hear fire Tomlin chants at the draft in April, because you just might.
Yeah, and now we have to realize that, look, there's some really good Tomlin reasons to keep him as coach, and we all know what they are, right? He's never had a losing season. But we got to pay just as much attention to the bad, which is he's now tied Marvin Lewis of the Bengals with 7 consecutive postseason losses. And he's now in sole possession of being the only coach to make it 9 years without a playoff win. So Don Shula only went
the worst drought in Steeler history.
Right.
This playoff run, the worst drought in Steeler history. I'm counting not counting pre 1970, which we know doesn't count.
Yes.
So pre 1970 doesn't count. Post 1970 in the Super Bowl era, this is the worst drought the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise has ever had. Do you need more ammunition to move on from this coach and try something new?
Right. It's just it's pretty clear to all of us that it's time. It's just time. You need a fresh start. You need to blow it up. And let's just pray that happens.
Okay, listen, guys. I first of all, I want to thank everybody that's watching us. We got a big crowd tonight on X and on YouTube. Thanks so much for being here. If you're joining us on either one, hit the follow button on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, click notifications, because we are the Sports Porch Black and Gold, and the Steelers are not the only black and gold team in Pittsburgh. We're on every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can join us here. Normally we have a great time. The pregame show was epic. And I got to tell you,
we were all wrong.
Look, guys, I was wildly wrong. HJ predicted the Steelers winning 21-17. The Grant Schwabini flipped his prediction from our previous week's show.
I mean, I was just kind of rolling with the the fun and the emotion.
Yeah, I get it. Steelers 24-20. And I went out on a limb. I knew this was bullshit when I did it, but I felt like somebody had to be like, hey, what if all of a sudden both of these offenses lighted up? I was wrong. Steelers 35-24. Here we go again. I put up a poll. If you're on YouTube, go to the comments section, go to the chat. The poll must, and I know HJ said he didn't want to talk about this, but I think we have to talk about this. We absolutely have to talk about this.
No, Mark doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Mark said it. We have to talk about this. Must the Steelers fire Tomlin now? 80% to 20. 80% hell yes, 20% not yet. I put the poll on Twitter, the Sports Porch 1 on Twitter, X, sorry. 94% yeah, hell yes. 6% not yet.
What do we have to do? Do we have to get the double-digit years without a playoff win?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Just wait one more year; it'll happen.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: look, we talked about this all week. Everybody talked about it. The Ravens, they fired Harbaugh. Similar situation. Tomlin has a much worse playoff record, much worse record with drafting young quarterbacks. I mean, who drafted Lamar Jackson? The Harbaugh regime. The rumors were he didn't really want Jackson, but it doesn't matter. And he developed him into an MVP quarterback. Now we go back to the playoffs. We have Aaron Rodgers, who by the end of the year was showing his age, just showing his age. No big deal. It's what's expected. Our defense did show up in the first half against a mediocre offense. They couldn't hold the field, with all the opportunities. The defense, our defense, the Steelers' defense gave that offense. You couldn't expect them not to cave by the time they'd been on the field for almost the whole game and halfway through the third quarter. I mean, I can't take anything away from their play at all. This is a typical Tomlin game plan. No real strategy behind it at all. Their offense was poor enough that our defense played well against them for most of the game, and we had no real offensive game plan. And They gave up 30 points and they only scored 6. That's really the bigger story here to me is that they only scored 6. I mean, I know the Texans definitely have a great defense. And I said a couple weeks ago, if Houston makes the playoffs, they could end up being dangerous. I don't really know what that means, but I'm not convinced that they can't go the whole way to the Super Bowl watching that defense and how fast it was. Maybe, now, of course, although the Patriots is a little bit of a different story.
Yeah.
They are a better team now.
The defense is great, but C.J. Stroud is pretty shaky.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean,
the problem is only getting 6 points and getting 3 turnovers. I mean,
right.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, so they're a good defense. We all know that. They should have planned for this defense, knowing they were so fast, and they should have tried something different other than, well, when we can't run it up the middle, then we'll throw it to Kenny Gainwell out the side. And then if that doesn't work, then we'll try and run away from the guys with Aaron Rodgers, who's a 42-year-old man. And as far as user HH5S goes, the guy in charge of taking Kenny Pickett in the first round of the draft is Mike Tomlin, and he's exhibit A for what's wrong with this team, and he won't be gone because exhibit B is the frickin' owner who wants to keep him. So I don't know how you change a franchise when it comes down to that. And you see Omar Khan in the booth with that old man, and they both look like they have no freaking clue what the hell is going on in front of them, and it's just ridiculous. It's time to just blow up not just the Tomlin. You got to blow up Khan. You got to blow up Rooney. You just got to blow the whole freaking thing up. This is the only way the Steelers are going to be able to do anything.
By the way, my wife commented, and I have to agree, doesn't their box look pretty pathetic compared to other owners' boxes?
Well, because there were 2 of them in the box. Nobody wanted to be around them because they're toxic. Everybody knows that they're the problem. So it's like, hey, do you want to be in the box with the owner and the GM? No, I would rather be at home watching the game from the confines of my couch. Oh, man. I didn't really want to get upset about this, but I guess I just can't help myself because I thought that maybe I would just be absolutely just numb to it at this point. But it just gets me more upset the more I think about what the Steelers are doing to a once great franchise. They're turning into a laughingstock. They're turning it into, oh, poor Aaron Rodgers. He's done with his Hall of Fame career. Remember when he did discount double check? That's what we're talking about at the end of the game.
Yeah, thank God.
I mean,
for that.
That's where we are. And you know what? Does anybody see this getting any better next year, even with DK Metcalf as our number 1 wide receiver? Also, I do have to say this. Christian Kirk, the Steelers did try and go get, not this year, but at the end of last year. And remember, he broke his collarbone? Yeah. Okay, so he broke his collarbone. So you don't go and get him when he breaks his collarbone. But they could have went and got him this year. The Texans got him from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what they got him for? A 7th-round draft pick. A 7th-round draft pick they gave up for Christian Kirk.
And
now, do you think the
Steelers
could have offered, maybe a 5th-round draft pick for Christian Kirk? Do you think that would have made a difference tonight? Do you think?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And by the way, by the way, why do you come out and start utilizing DK Metcalf early in the game and completely go away from him until like the 4th quarter? I mean, they didn't get a target on him. I think from midway of the 1st quarter to maybe midway through the 3rd quarter.
Honestly, I think Stingley shut him down, to be completely honest with you. I think they realized that they needed to just put Stingley on him. Looks like we're getting trolled by Blue Sky. Blue Sky 23 LFG.
That's fine. That's
you
fine.
know what? What we drink is Iron Cities, and yes, we will be drinking plenty.
Please
later.
Learn that. Please learn that.
Irons, Blue Sky.
Yeah. If you're gonna,
and by the way, we're so used to choking, it doesn't even feel like choking anymore. So there you go.
It actually feels like swallowing, to be honest with you. You know, like a big
big Iron City going down your throat,
or swallowing like a great big pierogi. It's just a little too big, but you get it down there.
You
then
have to.
Then you take a little glass of water because it's stuck right here,
like right at the back of your throat.
Yeah, and you're like gulp, and then it slides down.
But by now, our esophaguses are so big from all the choking, it doesn't even really matter.
Yeah,
spell esophagus.
So.
This is what I like. Listen, Mark Tobin. Listen, guys. Mark Tobin is a subscriber to the YouTube channel. We really appreciate that, Mark.
Hey, Mark, welcome.
If you're watching us on YouTube right now, you could really do us a favor. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers as quickly as possible. Hit that subscribe button. Click the notifications every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We are live right here on YouTube. You can also catch up with us on the Sports Porch podcast. Hockey Jesus up here. Oh yeah, he preaches after every single Penguins game.
I'm all you got left.
Well, until pitchers and catchers, because but this is the Steelers post game. So, and after every Steelers home game, over here the Grand Schwabini, he's with us every week. So hit that subscribe button. Would really appreciate it. And keep letting us know what's going on in the chat, how you're feeling about this. Mark Tobin, I thanked you earlier for being a subscriber, but I'm going to disagree. And that's what we love. 35, 40 years fans, all three of us, 120 years experience. Businesses like to tout that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Right, yeah. 120 years sports watching experience. I said at the beginning of the year we needed to take a flyer on this season and let Mason and Howard duke it out, but no, they helps out for Rodgers. Listen, I'm gonna completely disagree with you there, Mark. I'm gonna say, look, no way this organization would have ever done that. Number one. Number two, Mason Rudolph is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think it's time that these hardcore Mason fans, and look, I don't judge you for that. I think Mason's a great guy, and I think he fulfilled a great role here. And he's a decent backup quarterback. Never be a starter. You don't take a flyer on Mason Rudolph. We already did that. We know what we got there. Will Howard, you drafted him in what, the 5th round? Was he the fifth or sixth round? For a reason. Yeah, okay. He was the emergency plan this year. He was the emergency plan.
We would have been better off getting Christian Kirk.
That's right. He was the emergency plan. And, the Steelers, I still believe, are planning on drafting a quarterback this year. Now, whether that is with Tomlin or without Tomlin, I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, my opinion is probably not different than most people's opinion. They must fire him now. I think they're going to. I think they're going to.
Well, this is what we'll be talking about the next few weeks.
I will tell you this. They're definitely not going to fire him. If he's gone, it's going to be the mutual parting of ways.
Right. That's exactly. If he's going to go, he's going to say, I don't have it anymore. I'm losing the fire. It's time for me to step aside.
Yeah.
It's time
Spend some time with my family.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to get a couple of these responses in here. Mr. Higgs, if you're a subscriber, thank you. If not, please do that. Mark this day. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Will Howard is the franchise.
Hey, you can. Listen, why not?
Listen,
go for it. Go for it, Mr. Higgs.
No judgment there either. Brock Purdy, the first game Brock Purdy ever played, I said Hall of Fame. I'm sticking by it. Look, hey, you can say it.
We can make an opinion on Will Howard when he plays in the Steeler uniform. I hope that will be next year. Honestly, why not? It can't
Wouldn't
hurt.
it have been nice though if he would have played some of this year and we could have figured that out already?
Well, he got injured, just like all our good players do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because of the incredible training.
You got to get Mr. Kevin Gary Wilson here.
But here's the thing. To be honest, look, it is what it is. But I was never a fan of the Rodgers move. I said from the very beginning, look, I kind of like Mason Rudolph, but I knew that if Rudolph started, they would have a very bad year, and we'd get to see the second half of the season with Will Howard.
Well, right.
And, kind of looking at that now, I feel like that would have been a much more worthwhile and meaningful year than the same old, same old.
But we wouldn't have gotten that great playoff game against Baltimore last week.
I don't know. Was it that great?
No, not this week. This week it doesn't seem that great.
Right.
No doubt about that.
That's the thing. I mean,
Kevin
look,
Gary Wilkes, congratulations on your
game.
10-7 and one and done pick. I bet you can say the same thing next year.
Right.
Just say it now.
Bill did more with Bubby and Neil, gave Tomlin the keys to a Super Bowl Lamborghini. I mean, you know what? You look at Tomlin's first 5 years. You look at his next, 15, 14?
Yep.
I would say
you can go with 15. Definitely.
I would say that's probably true. Probably true. Let's see here.
Welcome to the porch, Kevin.
Yeah, we got
Kevin Gary Wilkes. We like you, man.
Yo-ho,
Glad
son.
we finally see it because that's the way we see it too.
Yo-ho, son. We could have let Skoranek play QB and done better. Feel the Steel's back for a little more abuse. Cheers to Sports Porch. Another year with Teflon Don. Yay. Listen, man, I'm telling you.
We'll see what happens in this week, the rest of this week. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Tomlin already said something in the post game that, probably has already made his decision about what's going on, or he's going to take some time to think about this. It's the classic stuff. There's really not much else you can do from that.
Fresh right now. A lot of guys in the locker room are hurting.
Yeah, probably. But hey, if you liked Aaron Rodgers this year, how do you feel about Kirk Cousins next year?
Yeah,
because that absolutely could happen. Atlanta's already cutting bait with him. He's going to be real cheap next year. He's already on the market. So guess what? Welcome to Pittsburgh, Kirk Cousins.
Well, I could tell we're going to have.
I do have a Mike Tomlin quote.
There you go.
Give it to us.
When asked upon his future, Tomlin says, "I'm not even in that mindset as I sit here tonight." There you go.
I'm not even in that mindset yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Can I go to bed now? Oh wait, I have to drive home yet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can go to bed.
How does that work on Groundhog Day? No angry driving.
No angry driving.
I better calm down before I get behind that wheel.
No angry.
Hey, one other stat for you guys.
Yeah.
The Steelers did get 3 turnovers, and the Steelers got 3 turnovers, and Houston got 2, so they were +1 in the differential in the playoffs. A playoff team that loses the differential only wins 14.8% of the time. So congratulations to the Texans on beating the odds by 85%. I mean, there's so many statistics you can look at. I mean, to me, it's the point differential. 30-6, 28-14, 31-17. I mean, these aren't even close, people. Yeah, we can make the playoffs to absolutely not only just lose in the playoffs, but actually get laughed out of the playoffs. It's not even close. Yeah, okay, maybe you can say we were in it this time until the fourth quarter. So what? When you give up, how many points do we give up in the fourth quarter? 17 points, 24 points? I don't even remember. It had to be at least 17 points. That's just a joke. It's a joke of a franchise right now. And until we can admit that, look in the mirror and say, that's what we are. We'll never get better. And it's got to start with Art Rooney, and then it's got to trickle down from there. I mean, let's just face it. Their draft picks over the past 3 or 4 years have been garbage. Name a guy who's been a draft pick who's made a difference. Maybe Freiermuth. Maybe Calvin Austin III. Maybe. Well, that's it. That's it.
The only thing I can say about that is I really can't.
They didn't even play Caleb Johnson this year.
The only thing I can say about that is that I can't really name a draft pick that's made a big difference, because even if you counted Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Antonio Brown, all of them, George Pickens, who somebody made a comment earlier in the chat, that Pickens trade doesn't look that great now. You might be right. I mean, maybe they keep Metcalf and Pickens but that wasn't the Arthur Smith, and that's arguing over the past. But, the point is that they're just bad. They're just bad.
And the guys they did trade for, Ramsey, did he make that much of a difference?
None of these people I mentioned made a difference at all, even the ones that became supposed superstars, because we haven't won a playoff game in how long? And it doesn't matter. All those stats in the world. I mean, look, Bruce Smith was one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. When you think about great pass rushers, he does come to your mind, but after a couple other players because they won Super Bowls. Reggie White only won one Super Bowl, but he is without a doubt probably the greatest pass rusher of all time, besides Lawrence Taylor, who won a couple Super Bowls, besides, name the guys. And then Bruce Smith will be down on that list because he went to a whole bunch of Super Bowls, but he didn't win any of them. They didn't win any of those games. So TJ Watt may go down in history as the Steelers sack leader, and he may get a Hall of Fame jacket because of his stats, but they're not going to make documentaries about this guy like they do Reggie White and like they do Bruce Smith. You know what I mean?
They'll probably do a 30 for 30 on him. Maybe on the Watts together.
Maybe, right.
Yeah, the brothers.
Right,
the brothers who had it all but couldn't win a thing. I mean, no disrespect to them. They obviously played at the top of their game, but they just were, some people are just unlucky enough to be in the wrong franchise, and they're great players. Look at Myles Garrett. He actually, right. I can't tell, look, I don't pity him now because he chooses to stay there. He could have played anywhere.
Right.
But, I mean, at the same time, look, man, that's why I'm going back to this. Okay, that's why I'm going back to this. And if you haven't already, our subscriber list is growing right now on YouTube as we speak during this post-game show. Every Monday night at 7 p.m. live, right back here. And you can always listen to the show if you didn't catch it live, anywhere you get your podcasts, Sports Porch Black and Gold. But that's why I go back to this. And that's why, Mark, the Grand Schwabini right here, the Grand Schwabini a couple weeks ago talked about if they lose that first game, actually you said if they lose to Baltimore and finish out the season with losses, should they fire Tomlin? 300,000 people watched that clip and commented on it because that's the hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be the hot topic. Yep. And yes, we're tired of talking about it, but the reason we're tired of talking about it is it's past due.
Yeah, we need a change.
The due date is up.
Right.
And after you have another embarrassing loss like this, okay, you don't have a choice. Now, to your point, HJ, when you said, they're going to lose a lot of Steelers fans, I don't believe that for a second. Steelers fan, and I know that was hyperbole.
Not really.
Steelers fans are hardcore. They're hardcore.
I promise you, there are season ticket holders who are not happy with the direction of this team.
That much is 100%.
Well, they're the ones who buy the tickets and go to the stadium and buy the beer and buy the nachos and buy the hot dogs
and buy the this and buy the that.
That's right.
I get it.
I mean, they're a big constituent. I promise you that.
Yeah. I love this. Here you go. Here's another draft pick. Roman Wilson had his career TT.
Roman Wilson. That was a great pick.
Tomlin is with the Steelers for 5 more years. Yeah, you know what?
He could be. I mean, Kevin Gary Wilkes is spot on with that statement.
Tomlin will leave and win 3 rings like Andy Reid. Good. I would be so happy for him if that happened. After Reid left the Eagles,
and I got news for you though. That ain't happening. That is definitely not happening.
The Eagles won some rings too, so
no. I don't think so.
No, but I mean, like Andy Reid built a team on his own with Philly. He just didn't get him across the goal line.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, at least Andy Reid drafted Mahomes. I mean, he did something right out there.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We need a coach that can draft the next Patty Mahomes. And Yoho, I'm not ready to go to the level that you're going by calling the Steelers the Pirates. To me, that's even a low blow for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Are they trending in that direction?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they could be.
No, I say a hell yeah.
Actually, the Steelers are in just probably the weirdest spot of any team I can remember. I mean, look, it's not easy to make the playoffs in the
because they're winning, right?
They're winning. I mean, look, 10-7. Look, it's a decent record. But the bottom line is, being that they got into the playoffs this year, being that they beat Baltimore twice in the last 5 games, which is their arch rival. There was only one way that Tomlin could potentially get fired, and that's if he was blown out in the playoff game. And he was. He was blown out in the playoff game.
Yeah, it's the reason why we can talk about it with earnest now. Because, I mean, if this is 6 years of futility and longer than that for actually a playoff win, but 6 years since 2018 of losing.
This comment right here by Feel the Steel, wonder if Steeler Nation will chant fire Tomlin at the draft.
That's where I want to go.
Yeah. You know what? If they have to do that, then he's not going to be fired because he's going to be drafting people.
There it is. Mike Tomlin, top of the list.
Yeah.
2016 to 2025. 7 consecutive playoff losses. Congratulations, Mike Tomlin. You made the top of the list. You passed Marvin Lewis with that loss.
He's up there with him, Marvin Lewis, Marty Schottenheimer, Jim Mora. Playoffs, and Steve.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Browns have more upside than the Steelers at this point. Well, listen, that's only because
the Browns have the second best draft pick.
And it's also only because when you're at the lowest absolute possible dirt bottom point as a franchise, there is nowhere to go but up.
Well, you want to talk about a franchise who has blown a lot of draft picks. My God. I mean, the Steelers are at the top, but the Browns are the toppest.
Here's dad joke of the night. What does Tomlin and a 1960s female hairstyle have in common? They both know how to get blown out.
Mm-hmm.
OJ the Wise,
OJ,
you're trying.
You're
trying,
that's
OJ.
Hard. That's okay. I think I could have come up with something better than that. Maybe not. Tomlin is 8-12 in the playoffs. Where's that winning record? When it counts. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, when it counts. Right, folks, on Fisher.
That's the one. I like that. The story all over is going to be, what are the Steelers going to do now? I think it's going to be less about the ins and outs of why they won or lost, or why they lost that game. You're going to hear lots of who gets a game ball. You're going to hear lots of statistics all over the radio. And you're going to hear lots of grades and pro football focus stuff. We'll leave that shit to them. Okay. Because we're just reacting right now post game. And my initial reaction and what we've been talking about most of this time is, do the Steelers really have a choice? They have to part ways with Mike Tomlin. They have to. And I think they know this. I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Did anybody on the Steelers have a good game tonight?
Well, I can tell you Sayamalu didn't. Did you see what happened on that sack? He's an all-pro left guard, right? That guy not only pushed him backwards, he fell on his ass, went backwards. The guy made the sack, then grabbed the fumble and ran for a touchdown while Sayamalu was just standing there saying, what the hell just happened? So, no, definitely nobody on the offensive line. I think you can honestly say that. I would say JP Jr. Probably had the best game for the Steelers.
Yo-ho, son, they better not get Harbaugh.
Patrick Queen had 10 tackles.
And I think JPJ
I don't know. He wasn't very good up the middle.
I think JPJ had a good game. Again, I go back to this. The defense was playing pretty well for most of the game, and they finally gave up. They gave up the ghost basically about halfway through the third quarter. They were gassed because the offense couldn't keep them off the field. And so, I saw a defense that came out ready to play. I saw an offense that had no real game plan, actually no real answer for the speed of the Texans. And truthfully, guys, you got to give credit to that Texans defense. They are fast. They are aggressive. They rally to the ball. They're going to give the Patriots fits next week. Drake May, I think, is a very good young quarterback. This is going to be a real test for him in the playoffs at home against this defense. I think the Patriots can win that game, but I don't know. This defense is pretty damn good, and as you can see, The Texans coughed up the ball a lot, and that defense bailed them out. and it's not one of those things where it's like, well, the defense isn't going to bail them out every single time. I think this defense can bail them out every single time. So, we played against a team that was a better team, by and large, a better team, better coached, and that's what happens. The Steelers made very little adjustment to their game plan on offense, especially. And their defense, they couldn't keep them off the field, and that's why they ended up giving up 30 points and only scoring 6. And
Kevin Gary Wilkes, I'm going to disagree with you. You say Roman Wilson had an awesome game. I think he had the best game possible. You know why? Because he was the only smart one not to suit up in the offense.
There you go.
I mean,
I'm assuming
you need to perform well on this offensive.
Was he inactive today?
I think he's been inactive most of the year, Mark.
Okay.
Roman Wilson, not most of the year, but he was inactive today, but not most of the year, but a good part of it. A good part of it. All right, listen, guys. The poll in the YouTube chat, 78% must the Steelers fire Tomlin now? Hell yes. 22 not yet. On Twitter, on X, someday I'll get used to calling it X. 90% hell yes, 10% not yet. So, I think, and right now emotions are high. We get it. Emotions are high, but I don't think I'm going to back off of this now.
Peace out, yo-ho, son.
Yeah. So, listen, guys, if you haven't already done it, you're still watching us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Trying to get this channel up to as many subscribers as possible. Click the notifications button. After you've subscribed, you'll know when we're live, which is every single Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on YouTube and on X, once in a while on Facebook. Hop over to Spotify or anywhere you get your podcast. You can listen to us, catch up with us. Hockey Jesus up here. He preaches on the podcast live on YouTube after every single Penguins game.
We still got the pens, boys.
And the Grant Schwabini is with us every week.
The season's over.
The season is over. We'll have a little recap next week. And obviously the season's over for the Steelers, but we're going to be having some fun with the playoffs over the next couple weeks. And
we'll still be talking about the Steelers too. Don't be afraid to come back, because that talk is never going to end.
You know it.
Sorry
you
about
know
that,
it,
guys. It's no stress now.
Good night, everyone.
There you have it. Final game of the year. Steelers lose 30-6 to the Texans at the Sports Porch podcast. That's where you can find us. Want to thank you for being here as always. Keep that chat going. Keep answering that poll question. For the Grant Schwabini, for Hockey Jesus, I'm your technical director. We'll see you next week. I'm out.